Hello, hello. How are you? And happy Father's Day. And I'm glad I'm going to talk slowly until people have a chance to find the show. I waited until the last minute again to do my placeholder. So I know people are used to looking for their placeholder. But anyway, it is so nice to see you. And I have some pictures to show you that I'm very, very proud of. Let me see if I can find them quickly. And it has been a busy weekend. And here is my daughter and her beautiful family at a march in their hometown over the weekend. Couldn't have been more proud of them. And let me go back up. Mark, all on his own, did this for our front yard. And I was very, very, very proud of him. So, it was a good weekend for those reasons. And, there was one more I wanted to show you, that all ages participated in this wonderful event, and making their signs and placards was even Andy's mother. We're so tickled that everybody participated. So, okay. Oh, did you? Good job, good job. Uh-oh, herniated disc? Uh-oh, what, somebody got back pain? Oh, Mare's in pain, herniated disc. Oh no, sweetheart, take care of yourself. You're doing so good otherwise, so we got to be real careful with poor Mare's back. I wish I was there to give you a little shoulder rub or something to try to help, but I am sorry. But it's so good to see Mare and Marcia and Laura. It's so good. How did he make the flag stand? He saw it on a YouTube video, maybe. It's really great because it spins around. And I said, I want it to have room to put a comment on the flag stand. And so he made it out of white PVC. And then he took a can of spray paint and spray painted it black, which I think looks really classy. But I think it was a YouTube video, and he's so talented that way. Anything he wants to make, he can make. But we wanted to send out our thoughts and love. Oh, there he is. That we had someone ask, how did you make your flag stand? Let's see if he has any suggestions.
Actually, pretty simple. I did follow a YouTube video. You can find them out there. There's dozens of different... No, don't worry about it, sweetie.
Oh, okay. Just trying to help.
Just leave it.
Okay.
There's dozens of different videos on how to do it. I found the key part is just length of each of the pieces. Kind of has to match up. But you have to buy the right pieces. It's just PVC tubing and some joints. And if you buy the right ones and a can of spray paint, voila. And then to keep it in the ground, you actually have a big piece of rebar and a metal washer that you pound the rebar in the ground as straight as you can. The washer sits on the ground, so the flagpole just rotates sitting on top of the washer, and it looks cool in a breeze. It just flips and flops, and just like a regular flag.
It does. It was nice. Thank you,
put
sweetie.
Put something up behind you, too.
Oh, yay. Yep, he put his sign up there, so that's great. Thank you, Mark. Oh, Mark.
Yes.
I do need that birdie on a wire down here. Oops.
Birdie on the wire.
Yes, the quilt you took a picture of.
It's right here. Oh.
Yes, I needed to show them up close.
I got you.
So it has been, and I want to say on camera, happy Father's Day to Mark, because he has been a great step-in daddy.
I'm a father figure.
And he's great with the dogs. In fact, I might be a little tired today because we have a little one.
Sick puppy.
Sick doggy, sick puppy. And she's had a little upset tummy, and she had us up at 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. or 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. I don't know. It was a tough night. But we're all here. Oh, Mary's here. And Mary and Mare, I think it was Mare that sent me some pictures, I'm pretty sure. So we have, hi, Deb S. the Pug Mama. Oh, we've got 3 puppies. We've got a teacup poodle, and we have that we inherited. And then we have a black and white mutt grommet, who's about 30 pounds. And then we have a Shih Tzu mutt Blossom, who's 12 pounds. So it's a busy house here, and when one of the babies is sick, we all worry. So we're going to see how she does today, because she may need a quick trip to the vet tomorrow. But little upset tummy. But I have a second opinion to a doctor. I went to a doctor Wednesday because I've got this great big kidney stone in my one remaining kidney, because I lost, those of you might not know, I lost my other kidney to cancer 5 years ago. So when you have a great big stone, it's too big to pass, you don't want to take a chance that it's going to damage your one remaining kidney, you know. I don't think they've perfected transplanting pig kidneys yet, and so I'd rather wait a little while. But anyway, so I went to the doctor, and they're kind of like this. She was wonderful, gave me all kinds of information. She's kind of like wait and see. But then I'm a little concerned, because if it's bothering the kidney enough to show up on blood tests or urinalysis, then more than you want to know today. But I'm going to see another doctor just to make sure. But I just wanted to say, for all of you who've been in the position of worrying about things, it's really nice that this one's fixable. So let's hope. Thank you, Mary. This is my paper bead necklace. Oh, Mary, thank you for saying that, because I want to tell you something. I was watching wonderful paper bead maker from England, and her site is Rainbow Lane, one word, Rainbow Lane. And she last night was talking and gave us sources for how you can make your own paper bead roller. That's been a problem for me, because, and while I'm talking to you, well, let me use this camera. I want to show you a close-up of the necklace I'm wearing, because I'm a real big fan of paper bead making, and it's really, really good, because when you're a little bit of a busy lady, busy hands, and anxious person like me, it is nice to have a hobby you can pick up, and you don't have to engage your brain. You just have fun. So this is the current, let me bring some more light over. This was actually a piece of decorated paper, cardstock, that I got from the store. And so it was like 17 cents at the time, and it made this beautiful, and I love it because it's light as air. So thank you for mentioning that. So the reason I wanted to I'm so excited Mary mentioned that is because yeah, Mare did send me some photos, because they're beautiful desert flowers. But anyway, because I went to look up her source for the ends, the slotted stainless steel, which is really important. There are plenty of paper bead makers out there that aren't stainless steel, and they are not slick enough, and the glue tends to build up on them, and it makes paper bead rolling a little harder. But the thing is, when I order some of those, James, happy Father's Day, James, from Deb S. Pug Mama Quilter. And I love pugs, they're so sweet. And, but to order the tips, I'll end up getting like 20 of them. So if anyone else is interested and would like an inexpensive way to have a really good quality bead roller, keep me in mind, because I will be looking into this. And if somebody, Mark could make these up for people a lot cheaper than you can buy them. So just give me a holler. But we are having a great day here. And as long as my puppy stays well, and I have something in the background I can't wait to show you. So, and then, but anyway, those that I'm so tickled that she gave us the instructions on paper bead rollers, because they're really nice. There was a paper bead roller I dearly loved. And it was nice because it had a little thing that would push the paper bead off when it was made. She sold her patented tool to a giant bead company, and they promptly killed it. So I had been at a real loss. So when I found Rainbow Lanes, and she no longer sells them, so she just gives you the information, So... Oh, good. And they're so much fun. I just thought I would show you. This was the ornament I got myself for Christmas from Joann Fabrics, which is now no longer. That makes me sad. The more I think about it, the sadder I get. If I need ironing board fabric for a cover, they're not there. If, all these little things that you just always knew you could run to Joann's and get. Now I've got to think about it and figure out where to get it. But this was an ornament. It's made out of metal, and it's just so sweet. And I've had it sitting upstairs on my coffee table, and I thought, bring it down here, decorate with it, and that way people might see it and enjoy it as well. So I tried to print out an agenda, and the printer acts up and has to be restarted. Michael's bought Joann's brand. Oh, Mary. I wonder what that means. Will they incorporate it into their stock? Or, I don't know, but you know what? There was a place for Joann's. I think the biggest problem Joann's had was the whole sale thing and the having to have a coupon and all of that. Oh, that would be great. Hi, Miss Joe. So, supposed to be adding to their fabric and textile offerings. Oh, I hope so. We have, I forget the name of the store now, but it's a kind of craft sewing store near here that has good prices and has a big stock, but they won't cover birth control for their employees. I mean, just told the insurance company, do not offer it in any way. And so I stopped shopping there because I'm sorry. Women are your biggest customers. Women are probably your majority of employees, and you need to give them all of the legal offerings in their health care. Okay? So that's enough there. But, yeah, I wasn't into the coupon thing, and I wasn't going to load it on my phone, and so it's sad. So today, I have my miniature sewing room shop to show you. It's yes, you're right, Miss Joe. That's exactly the store. And it's like, no, we need we need to make our own choices just like men make their choices. So... enough said of that. But I have my sewing room. It's called a tailor shop, but it's really a sewing shop. And I have gotten a lot of progress made on my birdies on a wire, and I'm so happy. People have been writing me for the birdies on the wire little pattern that I did. And if you want a whole kit of the original Birdies, then it's on Connecting Threads. And I think there's a sale right now, and it has the entire kit. I did read something on one of the reviews that said don't use their batting that comes in the kit. It melts when you iron it. So, but what I did is I was so inspired by the original that I made my own version. And so here is what I've gotten done so far. I've had the best time with this kit. So my birdies are very different. The number are different. The branch, it was not in the original, but I did use the inspirational hand embroidery flowers, but I embellished them a little differently. So, this is my inspiration, and I'm going to finish it off by tucking each edge in over to the back. So it's like an encased binding, but I will bring the camera over and show you everything that I've done with it. And then I am going to do show and tell with some brand new photos, and tell you more about our free class, a week-long free class that I give every July. And you voted on what class to take, so I'm going to give you all that information coming up. And then our new project, which will start next week. I just got this hankering for a mosaic project. So I want to talk to you a little bit about it and talk about some of the issues I'm worried and how to do. I want it to be a real looking mosaic, okay? So we haven't done a mosaic in several years. So I thought I'm in the mood for something like that because it's kind of like a puzzle, and we love puzzles. So, okay, and then the last thing is I will show you some ideas that I have for the mosaic, and I'll tell you all about the class coming up. Oh, I know what it is. We have pillow bead bracelets that we're making today. And I saw the pillow bead idea in a Quilting Arts magazine summer issue, I think page 36. I was fascinated. So what I did is took the idea and just figured out how I would make it that it worked for me. So I'm going to show you my version, and then if you get Quilting Arts magazine or make a point of getting it, you'll see how she does hers. So it's a lot of fun. We've got a lot of good fun things to do. And hi Debbie, so good to see you. And so anyway, it's going to be a fun full Sunday. And I do apologize, I'm just a wee bit tired. But, all right, let's do a close-up and see how our birdie's on a wire. Oh, and to tell you, I have my free drawing of my version of this quilt. And all you have to do, let me come in here and type it in. All you have to do to get your own pattern for it is Our Time to Quilt, and it's at gmail.com. Alright, so if you send me image copy of the birds, oh yes, info on the July class, I sure will. Okay, let me write that down because you know me, I will forget. The information is already on our site. We have a free site, Groups.io, and so I keep all of the files and the free patterns. So if you aren't a current member, just send me another email to that email address and I'll get you on our list. So I will send the information to Debbie. All right, got it written down, shouldn't forget. Okay. Yes, on the IO site. Thank you, sweetie. Okay, now, let's move on over to this cutie pie I have looked and never found who was the designer of the original Birdies on a Wire quilt, but it is precious. So let's take a look at it. And like I say, you can find the original kit on connectingthreads.com. All right, now let's go over to our close-up camera. And anytime you want to write, if you have a question or you want to write something to get my attention, please type it in all caps, and that way it makes it easier for me. So, the IO site. They used to have Yahoo chat sites. That went by the wayside. We miss them. But so this new venture called Groups.io, it offers websites to people, to groups. And so we have one. It's the Our Time to Quilt, Groups.io. So all you have to do is send me an email and say, I'd like to join for free. And that way you can chat with us. You can ask questions. You have all the files for free quilt patterns and anything everything I draw, I put on there free. So you've got 7 years of free patterns on there. So, and you can also make your own photo album and display your garden or your quilts or whatever art you love. And just so you know, so far as the free quilt class in July, we do it on Jitsi, which is kind of like a Zoom, except there's no time limit. And so it's a lot of fun because you can chat. You don't have to type. And if you want, you can be on camera. It's all your choice. And then we sew together. And if you don't want to start a new project, just bring something you're already working on. Or just come and chat with us for the fun of it. So we'll talk more about that coming up. Right now, pardon me. And so, right now, you are looking at my version of Birdies on a Wire. And I'll show you what I've done and what I still need to do. Okay, what I still need to do. This is one thing. I'm hoping you have some advice for me. I love using fusible. The problem I have, maybe I need to use a different kind of fusible. When I try to sew on a piece of fabric that has fusible, the needle gets so gummed up it gives me a fit. So, what I'm doing is I'm hand needle turning under the leaves like this, and then using silk thread and hand appliquing the leaves on, like I've done here, and these 4 have been hand appliqué. So I still need to do these. Now see this branch? I went back on my good sewing machine and I was trying to do a zigzag with a invisible thread. It gave me a fit. So then I thought, well, I'll try to see if I can zigzag with a regular thread. It gave me a fit. And it just, I think that machine is not happy. Now I use Steam-A-Seam too, and that may just be too thick to try to sew through. So I think first thing I should do is try to use a different fusible. So, but I have, oh, thank you. So the thing is, I think I may have to, do a needle turn or something along here, or maybe I'll use fray check along the edge and just hand sew it down. I've got to figure that out, but I'd like to figure this out before we start the mosaic quilt, because what will I use to put the mosaic quilt down? So here is the little branch and leaves, just to give this little quilt some little personality. I designed my own birds. I looked at all kinds of bird designs around the internet and came up with what I liked. And so here they are. And I have sewn a little bead on for the eye right there. These, I went ahead and used wool because I thought well, it won't unravel, and I can just do a little, simple stitch around the edge. Well, this one is a woven wool, and guess what? It wants to unravel. So what I did is I stitched near the edge, then went around the edge with fray check. Now, I couldn't decide how to put the wings on. And then I thought, hey, what if I match it to the bird body, the thread, and do a running stitch? And I think it's really cute. I was going to use invisible thread to stitch these down, but it kept getting gummed up. And then the thread would kind of bunch up down in my bobbin area. So then I said, well, let me just try black thread. And I didn't want to do a blanket stitch. I didn't want to make it that noticeable. But by doing this just a little straight stitch around near the edge, I kind of like it. It looks kind of folk art-like. So I think between that and the stitching on the wings, because I kind of invent this as I go, I really like it now. I think that they are so cute. Then I used embroidery floss for the wire, and embroidery floss, well actually yeah, I used embroidery floss to stitch their wings down, embroidery floss for their cute little legs, and instead of putting black legs on, I went ahead and did like a deep orangey pumpkin color just to make things different. And so here are all of my little birds. And let me tell you, when you use fusible, you still have to stitch it down somehow, because fusible just doesn't want to fully stay. It's good for holding it for the moment. So as you'll notice, I kind of tried to do a little bit of a wiggly stitch down line here. So here are my little birdies, and so the wire is floss too. Then when it came to the little wildflowers, I kind of made I gave homage to the original, but I made the exact design my own, just in placement. And oh, guess what? I need to do some more red French knots right here. I forgot this stem has no flower on top. And I just filled in leaves. I used little tiny pearls, baby pearls, for the top of the Queen Anne's lace, because I thought that was cute. And I chose 3 different colors for stems, because just to give a little interest. But one thing that I want you to notice, please, is that I stayed muted. I downplayed these wildflowers a little bit, because the star of the quilt is the birdies. So I wanted that extra little color. I put a little curved line of grass, made it very muted, so it wouldn't stand out from the sky. And then I have stitched that down with all the different flower stems, and it's fusible. So what I have to do now, I have to finish appliquing down the leaves, decide what I'm going to do for this stem. I might try to use my machine downstairs, because it's a good old workhorse, and it might accept, it might not be as bothered by the stickiness of this. But, hi, hon. I'm Michelle the Quilter. Oh, it's so good to see you. So, now, so you can always write, and oh, once these leaves are appliqued down, then I'm going to use embroidery floss and put the little leaflet branches on the tree. So each little set will have little green floss branches, something similar to this one right here. So then, after I get that done, then what I'm going to do is put it on the frame, and I'm going to quilt it. trying not to quilt over top. I'll do around the appliques and do around in between the hand embroidery. I don't like to quilt over any of that. And in fact, you notice that I went ahead and put my beads on, which is kind of a no-no, but I was so excited to see what it would look like. So I'm going to be very careful when I quilt not to get too close to all the beads. Now, if for some reason I had to, you know, I could actually nip these off and put them back on later. But I'm going to try not to do that. So then once I do some minimal quilting, and I've already picked out the backing, and I'm going to go ahead and use cotton batting. Once I've done the quilting, then all of my edges will get turned over by half, and this will make a wrap around binding to the back. And so it'll finish with about this much, you know. So I was a little concerned when I chose this for the binding, wondering if it was too busy for the quilt, but the more I have made each place special, I like it. I like it, I like it. And this is a picture of the original birds, the original sky. I think it's so sweet, and it just caught my eye, and I thought, I want to do my own version of this, and I love it, and I'm very grateful to the person who first thought the original design up. Excellent, way to go. Okay, so there is that, and I can't wait to have this on the wall. It is such a nice summertime, you know. So now you'll see this next week. It will be all completed by next week. So, okay. Oh, Mitty, hello. It is so good to see everyone. And everyone, please make Deb-esque, the Pug Mama Quilter, welcome. It's so nice to be seeing new people here. Okay. This is a really, really great group. Nicest ladies I've ever met. Okay, now, this is my new favorite thing. And making these little dollhouse miniatures is such fun. And I just love it. And this one, my daughter Katie gave it to me for my birthday recently. And I love it. So now let me, oh, I am still on. I'm still on my close-up camera. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little tour of this baby. This is a door that I put on with two-sided tape. And I think it, well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a vinyl tape. That holds the battery. And I love how they come up. These are two little beads and a, whoops. These are two little beads and a little piece of copper wire that make the door handle. And then this one had to be painted, and so I painted and then glued on the trim. And here it says Tailor Shop, whoops, Tailor Shop. And they have little pieces of crepe paper. You make your own flowers. You glue it into the bead, glue the bead down. Here they gave us a thin little dowel rod, and we wrapped, I'm going to bring over some more light. Hold on just a second. I want you to be able to see it because it's so darn cute, I tell you. So they had a little bit of fabric, and I cut the dowel rod into like 5 pieces, and then just cut the fabric, glued it on. This little basket right here is made of paper, and it had raffia in it, and so you glue the raffia to make it look like a basket. This is just a little piece of paper, but these are actual types of fabric that you fold up and glue down in it. Then it had instructions to make a raffia rug for the floor, so I had 2 different colors of that, so I did a 2-toned rug. Then you have all these little pieces that you snap out. It had a little paper insert that says, "Make it happen, design your own cloth with us." So that's that little sign. Then here is a little lamp post, which is so cute. And it's a bead on the top and a metal finding. And then this is like a soft tube. Here is like a rivet for jeans and a bead down here, and you just glue it in. These are paper printed flowers that look so realistic, but they're just paper, and you glue them over a wire, and then you put all that into a bead. Whoops, can you see the bead? Whoops. The bead down there, you glue it on. Then they have little flower material and beads that you glue the little flower arrangements in. But it was so much fun. I love popping. These are laser cut pieces of wood, and you pop them out, and you pop out the inserts in between here, and you paint everything. But now let's see if I can take you inside and see all of what's there. There's another basket just inside there. And then look, there is a shopping bag down there. Let me see if I can see that shopping bag. That's just printed paper that you fold by their directions, and took a little bit of raffia to make like handles on it. And then look on the table. There's supposed to be all kinds of thread, pretend scissors we made, rulers that you make with just little pieces of wood and beautifully printed paper. And then there's a coffee cup on the table. And look at the little pencils. They were little painted pieces of wood that you scraped and then painted black on the tip to make them look like pencils. Then over in the corner, let me see if I can, whoops, this way, there's a little cheval mirror standing up back there. Then here is a bookcase that you made out of just rectangles of wood. And then those are supposed to be bolts of fabric. And they're just little pieces of wood with a pretty paper glued around them. Then beads to decorate, paper to make a basket and put what looks like knitting needles in it, and more flowers. And then look at that little cabinet. And you took little beads and take and glue little fuzzy thread. Whoops, let me get back in a little closer. And then little beads that you glue thin ribbon on. And then the door handle on that little shelf is a bead. And then look at that pink hat, which is a bead, a piece of paper, and some gold thread type decoration. You can make a bow, and it was supposed to look like a hat. But, and then this bookshelf over there was made with rectangles, some partly cut out so that the shelf fit over the side holder. Then look at the cute little ironing board and iron. And I was tickled that they had a miniature iron and a miniature sewing machine. But see the little ironing board? You just glue the pieces of wood together, which makes it. And let me see, here is the sewing machine right here. See that sewing machine? It's got fabric in it. I made a little sewing desk. There's a little sewing chair right here. So there's just so much to look at. More fabric, little beads on top of this shelf in here. A pretend little picture sitting there that's just paper. So it is just so cute. There's a sewing machine case. I would assume that's what it is. And that was made out of 2 little pieces of wood, paper, and glue. That's all it is to make that. So I just think oh good, there's another shot of the sewing machine. And the cabinet is supposed to look like a treadle machine. It's so cute. So this is what I was working on for about 3 weeks. I would have some quiet time to work on it. Let me come down here real quick and see if I can do this. Okay. But this was just the cutest thing to work on. And I had a blast with it. Little battery powered, just cute. And I don't know if you can see inside to see the light in there. Made with just beads. And, oh, and see the little sail on the side of the door. So this was just so much fun. And the flowers are made with crepe paper. And you accordion fold them. And you can, with some of them, I actually cut little notches so they would look a little more fluffy and furry. And then some of them you just accordion fold them and then fan them out. Now some of the flowers, like this right here, those are actual dried flowers that have been dyed pink. And this was just paper that... This plant was just paper that you folded over green wire and glued. And a good glue is important. And I tell you what, I'm a huge, huge fan of the tacky glue fast grab. It really worked good. This is a piece of plastic that they made into like a showroom window. Then they had a little clothing stand, like a mannequin stand, and gave you the fabric and you made like a little dress, and then you put fluffy cotton in it and some little pretty little balls and things, and I just think that's so cute. So I'm very much in touch with my inner child, and to me, I just picture that this would be my sewing room, and I just love it. And I even made little pillows, and it was such fun. So anyway, I just thought I would show you that whoever designs these is so creative. And it is amazing that they can create so much in this little tiny world. Isn't it the cutest? So, I love this. I think she got this one off of Amazon. And I love them. So this is going to be my thing. When I exercise and when I have some success losing weight, then I'll get a new kit. And that'll be my big reward, because I get so much joy out of something silly. Yeah, the flooring is just a paper, beautifully printed paper that you glue on top of the wood. Isn't that cute? So, there is that. All right. Now, while we're down here, oh, wait till I show you. We had this cute pattern. It's a free pattern, Tilda, and it's called Kitschy Friends. And I made my doll last week. And wait until you see the doll Mary made. It is so cute. So we had a link in last week's show, I believe, on where to get this free pattern. But if you type in Tilda's Kitschy Friends on the Google machine, it will take you to the free pattern. And it was so much fun to make. Very easy. Just remember, cut the fabric in big rectangles like they suggest, then stitch it with a tiny stitch like 1.6 or 1.8, then cut out the pattern. Much easier that way, because these are thin little lines. And I'll show you my doll in just a little bit. But what fun that was, and I can't wait for you to see Mary's. Alright, so the other thing I was working on were pillow beads that I saw. Whoops, I'm sorry about this. I thought, well, let me see. Alright, so these are pillow beads, and I think they are really, really cute. So, I chose two of my fabrics to go up and test these out. Now, I have I'm going to show you what I did because I did something just a little bit different, okay? And I love the idea of these, and the only problem with the way I did it is that it might make them a little bit stiffer than they would be otherwise. But I took about in between a 2.5 inch and a 3-inch piece square of fabric, and I'm just folding it in half each way, creasing it so that I get these lines so I know exactly where the middle is. Then I found I used some tacky glue and did an X in the middle, and this is to make a fabric bead bracelet. You can even use the same thing to make a necklace. Okay, you just have to make more beads. Then what I would do is fold in the corners. And this was from the woman who wrote the article. I always forget to get people's names because she deserves this credit. I'll have to find the name and put it, after the show's over, I'll put it down in the information below the video. So you fold each of the corners in like this, because I think the idea, the name of paper beads, I'm writing it down. I mean fabric beads. Okay. And I'll put it in the information below because she deserves the credit. What a great idea. Alright, so you fold those in. Now she would not put any glue, and I have found it's better if you use just little dots of glue. Just little dots. Because if you use too much, they get very stiff. Then I just come along here, and I just put little dots of glue, and I fold this about, I fold it a third down. Then I come here, put little dots of glue, and fold it the other way. And to get the right size, it doesn't fully come to the edge, and that's okay. Now I have arthritis, so this is why this might be a little different than how she did it and you would do it, and that's okay. Alright, let me get a needle and some thread, and because I want to show you how these are made. I love finding new ideas. Yay, there we go. Okay, let me knot my thread. You know what, I better bring this up or I'm going to miss too many things. Okay, how I knot my thread, I've got it threaded. And you do know, okay, let me give you this little hint, because sometimes we forget and then our thread acts up and we don't know why. The way that the thread is spun and the way it comes off the needle, this should go through the eye first and pull down to the end. So the way you take it off of the spool is that first end is the one you put through the needle. Because if you put it the other way, because of the twist on the thread, it can be more likely to get tangled for you to cut. You know, if you ever are sewing with thread and it constantly wants to be tangled, you might have started with the other end. Sometimes people cut off a piece first and then thread the needle. I always try to thread the needle before I cut the thread. And okay, so now you saw what I did. So I had that long line and I folded it in thirds again. Now, oh, and I forgot to show you how to make the knot. What I do is I take and put my needle on top of the end of the thread, and then I wrap it about 4 times around because I want a sizable knot. then I grab the wrap part, push the needle through, holding it with my fingernail, drag the wrapped part all the way down to the end, and there I have a nice knot. Okay, so I do wrap it a good 4 times. I don't want to have to do that process twice. So now see, the reason I like using the little dots of glue is it holds itself together while I'm getting ready to sew it. Alright, so now here is a folded side. So what I'm going to do is come in and tuck my knot away, and sometimes, hold on just a second, I wish I had brought my pliers down. This is one of those things where it helps to have a pair of pliers, because the fabric I'm using on this is really thick fabric. So I stick my needle in, pull it through to bury the knot. Then this is called a ladder stitch. Instead, normally a whip stitch, you'd go over and come out there, but then you'd have all your threads showing across this divide. So what I do is I come back over this side on the inside. Okay, and what I'm using this piece of wood for is to help push that needle through to make it a little easier on my hands. Alright, now not all fabric would make you have to use and see how I tuck this in? I want my edges nice and neat. So then I've come here, I'm going to come back under this side. This is why it's a ladder stitch. And come back under, then pull it through and pull it snug. You may have to, depending on how strong your thread is, you may have to double your thread, because you want to keep the edges nice and snug so that all the folding doesn't show through. You want that shape of a plump little pillow. That's, I think, why she named them pillow beads. Okay, so then you come over this, you go back under. If you want to see as little of that as possible, I like to hold this, push this, the end shut, so I can tighten the thread so you don't see too much. So this is what you do, and you just do this ladder stitch all the way around, trying to minimize your stitching the best you can. And this is where, if you have any needle puller, it would be very helpful for you to use. Okay, so pull this through. So now you continue here, you continue around this edge and shove some of the little messier bits down, do around here and finish up here. And when you've done all of that stitching, then what you end up with is a nice, neat, tidy little pillow bead. There you go. And these don't have to be perfect. Every once in a while I'll see a little place, well, miss that a little. But you get these little puffy beads. They don't have any stuffing in them or anything. It's just the way you folded the fabric. So now, one thing I wanted to show you that I did notice that wonderful designer did is she, whoops, let me get this out of the way before it gets so tangled. Okay, I'm going to take and split this. You can split it in this floss into 2 or 3 strands. I'm going to do 3 at first. Let me show you this. Because what you can do, depending on what mood you're in, is you can, okay, alright. Do I have a shelf? I have a bookcase. Good question, Miss Mary. I have a bookcase, and because I've done 3 before this, so this is my 4th. I think you can say I'm very fond of them. And if we can ever get these tariffs to go away, I can then buy them straight from China where they're made from Temu, and they're much cheaper. You can get them for in the teens. Right now, they're expensive because of the tariffs. So, let's cross our fingers and hope that those are still soon gone so we can go back to supporting our worldwide economy. Alright, so if you notice with this color, it's indigo blue, white, and then there's this touch of metallic gold. So what I'm going to do is come in with this floss. I'm going to bury the knot. Let me trim off the little tail. And this is up to you. You can stop at just the pillowy part, or you can keep going. But you could come here and you could wrap the edges, or you can like make it look like a tiny little birthday or Christmas package. But like you can come around here with this decorative thread and leave a little accent. So if you feel in the mood to do some hand sewing and you want to have fun, then go for it. But just look at that nice little touch this thread looks. And if you had metallic thread, yeah, you can use that too. But so here we go. I just did a nice little touch around the edges, but you could stitch it across like this. You can make them as decorative as you wish. So see how I did that? You could do that with them, whatever you want. So I wanted to show you that, and you can use a contrasting or matching thread, whatever. So now what I'm going to do is let me bury this. I don't want it to come loose, so I'm just going to go around the corner, come back through, bury that thread, and it should be good. Alright, let me pull this back out. Okay, there we go. So, whoops, trim it just a touch closer. And you know what? That's a good point. Time maybe to put a little dab of glue just to make sure. There you go. And see how I just kind of dabbed it off? And that way you know it won't pull back out. Alright, so now that you've got this, you take an elastic. And I love this black elastic. It is so comfortable. And a lot of times if I'm going to try to put this through a needle, then what I'll do is put a little glue on the tip of it, or when I'm beading with it, put a little glue and just kind of, you know, smudge it down, make it very slender as you can, and it'll stiffen it up just a little. And then let's see if I have too much trouble getting it through the needle. I wish I had brought one of my, whoops, I think I'm going to. Let me see if I can find a slightly bigger embroidery needle. Oh, let's see, this one might be too big, but let's try it. Okay. Come on. And I wish I'd brought, let me try this again. I'm going to cut that glue off because I think it was making it a little sticky. Okay, come on. Whoops. Let me see if I have a heavy-duty needle threader. Come on. I'm looking in my best drawer here, trying to find something. Let me see. I am having a little bit of trouble. Oh boy. Hold on just a second. Where's my needle threader? I'm not seeing one. Let me try it again. Upstairs, I have a really good needle threader. Of course it's upstairs. I keep it with all my hand sewing supplies. Let me see. Sometimes you can pull the black threads so that they come out beyond the elastic. So the elastic will snap back in. And let me see. If I can just make it thin enough to go into the needle. Alright, let's see. Should have brought a bigger needle. Let me look around here. Well, you're going to need a good size embroidery needle. Let me look back. This is what happens when you try to grab things at the last minute and make it work. What did I do with that pack of large needles? I just had it here. Well, I'm not having a lot of luck. Ah, I found them. I kept looking. Okay. All right. Move these others out of the way. Don't want to lose those. Okay, this should work. Let me try this again. Alright, yes, it's going to work. Let me just grab that through. Yes. Alright, here we go. Now, I've got longer than a bracelet size here. And I'm going to take and put a knot in this end so that the beads will not just slide off of the elastic. You definitely want elastic because you want, here we go. Now these should fit. I tried to get a little bit bigger. Oh, they just do fit because they're metal. And I thought that would be a problem. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to put one bead, whatever color makes you happy. Then you're going to come in here. I want to find it where it's open. I want to use the side where it's open on both sides. You know how it's open on 3 sides and you stitch it down? So I'm going to come in near this open edge. This is where using glue might be a problem, and why you definitely want some pliers. Now if you don't use the glue, it shouldn't be as big a problem, but you're just going to come here and sew through the stitches you made to go around. Alright, to go around the pillow bead. Okay. And I don't mind showing you when I have a hard time with something, because I have never really known people to always get it perfectly from day one. Let me hold on just a second here. Alright. Give me just 1 second. Okay, I'm going to ask Mark. Mark, could you bring me some pliers? Let's see. There he is. Okay. It's like, Happy Father's Day. Can you bring me some pliers? pull a needle. All right. Hopefully he's got his phone with him, because what I'm having a problem with is getting this out of this pillow bead. And it's a thick needle, and you've got the 2 strands of elastic. So if I have pliers, I can pull this through. But here are some other beads. While I'm waiting for that, here are some other beads. And I started to sew this last night and realized, nope, I really need matching thread. So that's why I picked up some of this thread. And with these pillow beads, I'm going to use black in between beads. Let me see. Yeah, this would be a perfect size. And these, what you're going to do is you're going to run the elastic down each side of the beads, of these beads, and put a bead, a corresponding or contrasting color bead, in between. Okay? So, and you just run the elastic down each side, and then it makes a really smart looking bracelet. I'll be right back. Hold on. Hey, Mark. Pull the needle. I'll use this. I will use this. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Mark was in the shower. So, okay. So I went upstairs myself. Alright, these are not the exact kind of pliers I should use, but hopefully they will work. They'll probably leave a mark on my needle. Alright. Alright. So now, let me put this glue away. It's wanting to leak on my ironing board cover. Okay. Now, let me find another gold bead. Whoops. Okay. Here we go. Remove this out of the way. Put this here. Okay. I love these. These are actual metal gold beads. They have a real nice feel. A nice weight to them. Okay. And I don't know about you, but I just kind of keep beads handy that I'll work on different projects. Alright, now I'll come in with another bead and run this through. Be careful that you don't accidentally stick yourself with the needle. Push it all the way through here, and pull it through. Now I have a feeling, well, I don't know, it depends on how tightly you sew them, But you pull this through this bead. I mean, yeah, that side. And I put on another gold bead. So do you see how you go down with them? And then you come down this side doing the same thing. And it will give you a really lovely bracelet that I'm hoping are pretty comfortable, because when I wear my bead bracelets, they tend to push on the inside of my wrist a wee bit. Now this is what I was saying, be careful, because if that bead comes through the fabric, it could stick you. So let me go back into the fabric. Okay, and now try to come straight up. Yay! And it's nice to have something to push on like that. Pull it out. All right, so there's another bead on. And depending on what kind of elastic, I would use something a little strong, because you're going to be yanking on this. But the elastic is part of the reason it's a little tricky to come through. But this elastic is so comfortable to wear. It's gentle. It's just wonderful. Okay, so I'll come back through here. All right. It's good hand exercise, let me tell you. All right, here we go. Okay. You know what, Mary? I thought about that. I thought when I finished making it, I mean, they would look like little ceramic tiles or something. So I might put some of my triple thick that I like to use on these. I think it might work. Good idea. And just it's just a way to look at your fabric and say, how would that look if it were folded into a tiny square and turned into something? And you know, how would it look? And you have to make more of these, but you could make a necklace of these too. Look, okay. And I love, when I saw this fabric had a little gold in it, metallic gold, I thought, oh, I love gold beads. So, okay, let me put 2 more of these on, then I'm going to start doing the other side, because I'd like for you to really be able to visualize what the bracelet will look like. Very pretty. All right. Because the way the beads line up, one on either side coming down, it's just really, really pretty. And then there's one more left that I'm ready to do. And you'll have to decide on your wrist how many of these beads you want. Thank you.
Those are wire cutters.
Yeah, I know. I was making a mark on my needle.
Oh yeah, they'll cut your needle.
You can take them up for me if you want.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Aw, he's the best. All right, he brought me the right kind, because the others were the wire cutters, and I knew they were making a little mark on my needle. Okay, so this is the last one that I have ready, and I think I'm going to need one more. And this is, they end up making about 5/8 of an inch, the way I folded them. Let me try another bead. Sometimes if the bead doesn't quite fit, just try a different one, because sometimes the center holes are just a little different. Okay, I have big wrist, about a 7-inch wrist, so yeah, I might have to make 2 more. But what I'll do right now is I'm going to pull the needle off of this, and I'm going to get a second piece of elastic, and I'm going to thread this one because I just want to show you on the other side. You know, I'm not just a quilter. I love all kinds of hobbies, and I mostly quilt, but you know, I like seeing what else can I use the fabric, what else can I sew with, and okay, come on. It's like I can see it, but I need to get it through. Pulling this past that elastic is the smartest way, because then you get a thinner thread at the end. And once you can grab that, then you can force. There you go. Okay? So there's another little tip. But that's another reason I like showing you, because there's little things I have had to learn through trial and error that I can maybe show you. Alright, so here we go. We've got another piece of elastic. I put a gold bead on that. You want to start and end with the gold bead. Let's see. Whoops, this one might not fit. Now, if it doesn't fit, I'm going to put it to the side so I don't keep trying to use the same one. And go grab another one and see if that fits. Yes, that one fit. Okay, so a bead down at the end. Then I'm going to start at the same end that I started last time. Go on the other side of the bead. Oh, this one's going through real easy. So maybe all of that stitching made the other side harder. Okay, so here we go. Now I need another gold bead. Go on. Alright. Then come up through here. I think it's maybe all that stitching, because this is just going through so much easier. Okay. Pull this through. I still think you're going to need some pliers. Because you have to use a big needle for the elastic. Oh, look at that. You see what now do you see the look? I think this is going to be so pretty. And just keep in mind your bead size, because the needle has to be big enough to work with whatever elastic you use. Now, if you wanted to put a fancy closure, you could probably use wire, and that would be probably much easier to get everything through. But just make sure your elastic and your bead size are, the metallic or plastic bead size, are compatible. Alright. Another one, and I'm going to use black beads for the Jenny Beyer fabric one. Okay. But this is a way you can look in your closet, in your fabric stash, and what color bracelet would you like to have? Find that color or unique pattern and make yourself your own jewelry. Because if you were, like Mary said, if you put a finish on these, they will look like little ceramic beads. Those ceramic beads are very expensive. And this is just stuff you've got in your closet already. And to me, that's a good deal. You know, it would be fun if you ever entered a quilt in a show. Take some of the scrap fabric, make yourself something to wear to match your quilt that you enter in a show. So, I've heard of people making jackets and things, you know. Alright, almost at the end to show you how pretty this really is. This is not one of those, well, that's interesting, but it, you know, That looks a little tacky. No, this is cool. And I'm noticing how the beads are looking a little bit like Danish tiles. You know, Dutch tiles. Oh, they're really, really showing up pretty. Okay. And the fact that this is thick fabric, I thought would be good. But maybe they don't have to be this. The fabric doesn't have to be this sturdy. Okay, and you know, I like the idea of putting a finish on them more and more, because that way you can keep them clean. You know, you can rinse them off if you get something on them. You can take good care of them. All right, so next week I'll make 2 more of the pillow beads, have this sealed and finished, and show you again what it looks like. And that might just be what it takes to convince you that a fabric bracelet might be just what you'd like to try. All right, one more pull through. One more, come on. Because I've made all my jewelry and I love it. I have so much to choose from now, and it didn't cost me a fortune, which makes it very nice. Now, when you pull the elastic out, it will kind of snap. Don't let it surprise you or scare you, because it will snap back at you a little. Okay, one more bead, and then we're ready to show you. Okay. All right. And then what I'm going to do with this is, just for the moment, I'm going to just tie it off with a nice bow so it's easy to get untied. Tie it off so I don't lose any of this. And here is our pillow bead bracelet, and here is what it would look like on your arm. Oh, I always like those little barrel beads that you can buy individually. They're very expensive. Never bought them. Yeah, exactly. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Y'all are so kind. So yes, I will definitely use, I love Mary's idea of using a sealer on these to give them a shine, and I have a feeling you're going to be very surprised. And then when I saw this Jenny Beyer fabric with the dark red and black dots, and I thought, I'll put the black beads in the middle of these. I'll use the black beads in the middle of this. So, and I think that using the glaze, the triple thick glaze, will bring out the color. So that will be fun. All right. Well, thank you. I decided to take the time, even though it was kind of tricky to do and makes me nervous sometimes to do on camera. I think it was the best to give you as much information as to how do you really do this, and is it hard or not, because I have arthritis in my hands. A lot of you do. So it's kind of nice to know really how tough is this. So I'm going to put all of this back in, and I'm going to go around the rest of those beads with this pretty, because I really like that. I just think it edges it pretty. So, it's another fun thing to do. Lately, I'm in the mood for doing hand sewing. You know, to me, it's a stressful time. And, you know, with all the stuff going on nationally, and this gives me a lot of comfort. A whole lot of comfort. And you can buy this on Amazon. Very inexpensive. It's a wonderful, comfortable elastic. I use it on all my jewelry. See this? There it is again. It lasts a long time. It's gentle and comfortable. And all right. So now let me come back to the main camera. I always have to try to track down my cursor. Come on, cursor. I'm determined, guys. Oh, come on. Oh, I'll have to check that, wouldn't that? Oh, I'd love to see her again. I'm trying to find my cursor. Hold on, guys. Where is my cursor? Okay, there it is. Yay. I think my cursor, whoops. I think my cursor got a wee bit dusty. I forgot that I had the lamp hanging over. Okay, stop, lamp. Calm down. All right. Boy, we have had Florida weather here where every day we get a thunderstorm late in the day and it just creates this sticky dampness. I don't like it. And so I don't know, what has your weather been? I hope you haven't had too much. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go check out Show and Tell. And then I'm going to show you the quilt pattern that from the class that we're going to have in July. You're all welcome. It's free. Just come and have fun. And then I will show you the mosaics I'm thinking of to start next week. So again, I will make a pattern and put it on the site, and you can ask for it. And I want to do some research to find out which fusible will my machine sew through, because I was getting very frustrated last night. Okay, you've been getting Louisiana weather here too. Oh, geez. It's so frustrated. Oh, it's so good to Michelle the Quilter. It's so good to see everybody. Ah, and I saw a name of a Katie. I wonder who that is. Ah, okay. All right. So anyway, it's wonderful to see so many different ideas out there. And I just love it. And that's what those magazines are for. They give you ideas, and you never know when one's going to want to stick. Like this whole paper bead thing it's just you sit down and you roll them. And it's tactile, it's mindless, it's relaxing, it's wonderful. So, and I tend to be an anxious Annie, so being able to relax is very, very important to me. All right, so now let's see our show and tell. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start with our July class. And I even had someone ask for the narrow strip landscape, which I'll be showing you right before we go. I'll show you those again. But our class that you all chose is this class. And let me take it over and put it, whoops, I was hoping to take it over. Come on. Well, hold on. I'm going to do this. Yay. And drop it in right there. Okay. Now, oh, come on, show. Oh, not main. I'm supposed to be on this one. Whoops, this one. All right. Here is the class we chose for the July. Oops, hold on. For the July quilt class. And it's called Snail's Trail al fresco. And it reminds me, speaking of snails, I've been whining that it's been so much rain just to keep everything really humid that the slugs have been eating my garden up. I finally looked in one of my... Oh, Katie is Greenland Quilter. Oh, that's great. I'll have to check her out. And, but they're eating my flowers, and I looked up in my closet where I keep stuff like that, and guess what? There was a box of slug bait. So I promptly went out and put slug bait in all of my containers. So, what a mess. What a mess. Okay. So this is Snail's Trail, al fresco. And so you can buy the pattern for only $3.99, just about anywhere. It was designed by Jean Ann Wright. And so I'm really, really tickled with this. I've always wanted to do a snail's trail, never did, and the alfresco just makes it, it's just really sharp looking. And so what I would do is, if you can find a colorable version, try different colors, try different fabrics. I'm determined to shop my stash and pick out some really nice colors. Yeah, I heard about that, Mary, but we don't drink beer and I didn't feel like buying any. So I was trying to think, what am I going to do? And luckily I found the bait. So let's hope. Mark the other day picked up, I had a little 6-pack of plants I hadn't planted yet. He was taking them to go plant them. Underneath was like 6 little slugs, and you could tell that they hadn't been hatched out long. I was like, this is awful. So we're being taken over by slugs. So anyway, this is the quilt class that y'all chose, and we have some good other patterns too. So that maybe, and then here are some examples of quilt patterns that are color samples. Now this one is not the alfresco, but it's got enough of the snail's trails that I thought, oh, look at those colors, that it's beautiful to look like an ocean scene. And then I want you to consider you can use different backgrounds. So here is, I see a lot in this colorway, kind of a hot, spicy salsa summer quilt. You notice the pattern calls for 2 rulers. Yes, what I'm going to do is either, Debbie, do you have the 2-piece ruler system? They call them Peaky and something else. Who was it that named it last week? Because I think that it's the same as Tri-Rex ruler. I think it's the same. But what I'm going to do, that if we have to, I will have printouts of the size of the ruler and what you need that you can then take, and we'll work out something, because I don't want you to have to go buy rulers for this class. So don't worry. We will have... Betty's here? Oh, I hope so. So, I'm worried I miss everyone. I love my new... There's Betty! Oh, yay! I've been telling everybody that I have a feeling Miss Betty is out in her garden, because you are quite the gardener. She has the most beautiful flower collection you would ever... Dahlias and hollyhocks and, oh my gosh, such beautiful flowers. So, okay. All right, so now you've seen this colorway. Let me see if there is any other But the two rulers are this ruler, and I have different ideas I'll share with you, but I'm going to go through the whole making of it before we have the class and see if we don't buy the rulers, how else can we make it? Because there's got to be a way. The rulers, for the most part, make things a little easier, but you don't have to have most rulers. Now here is this. This is the Creative Grids, and it's the two rulers in one. So if you have the Tri-Rex ruler, that would be the top. One piece would be the top part, and then this half triangle down there is the other part. So I will double check to make sure they all work, okay? I will make sure, so you don't go out and purchase two $30 rulers. Please don't. And this is just for one quilt. If you thought, I'm going to make every person in my family a quilt like this, then I would say, sure, go for it. But otherwise, I have spent money on rulers that just made me frustrated. So anyway, okay, that's enough for our July class. If you're taking notes right now, our July class is going to be July 21st through July 25th. July 21st through July 25th. That's Monday through Friday. It's going to be 10 a.m. Eastern Time until about 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, what I mean about 3 p.m. is because if we all get tired, we've worked long enough, we don't want to do any more. Was it 10 a.m. or 11 a.m.? I forget. Oh, I'll have to check my records because I already made it and put it on a calendar. But it's either 10 or 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. I think it was, let's just say 10 to 3. I'll have to wake up earlier. And, but if we're working on this, show you this fabric. I found it. Oh my God, I'm in love with this. But it's Eastern Time or New York City time, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And you can come and go. We'll have a lunch break at noon. And so we'll come and go, don't worry. And you certainly do not have to make this quilt. You can work on something else that you want to work on. This is just an opportunity for us to spend and have a little virtual retreat together. And like I say, Jitsi is free to use, and you can just, you don't have to be on camera, or you can be on camera, and you just chat, you just talk, you don't have to type, which is wonderful. In fact, I find that when we do that, I get right quiet because I love hearing y'all talk. I'm plenty bored with hearing myself talk. Okay, there was one other July mosaic quilt. Before I go to share your beautiful quilts, I went online and started looking up mosaic quilts and to see what's out there, what would we want to do, and what not. And then this is by Cheryl Lynch, and it's so cute. Of course, it's my pink flamingo, which I love pink flamingos. And then I look at this. These are by Cheryl Lynch, and they are wonderful. Look at, isn't that great? And I love how she did the little white wavy lines through the sky like clouds. Look at this mosaic. Is that beautiful or what? If you had the right batik fabrics and more patience than God, I would say go for it. That is just beautiful. But, okay, let me see what else. I love going and looking up ideas. And then I came across this and thought, you know, there's something about a sunflower. So I wanted to see how y'all felt about doing a mosaic sunflower. So I ended up purchasing this idea to give me plenty of inspiration. It was very inexpensive. But now here is a mosaic quilt, or some people might call it stained glass. Let's see, there's another one. Look at this one. This one's called sea glass. And I think that is so pretty. But it means probably finishing off all those little rounded sea glass shards. Look at this. There's so much you can do with mosaics. Little snippets of fabric. Now I assume that they use some kind of fusible to put them in place. And on this one, they're all sewn down with variegated thread that runs through the middle of each rectangle. That seems straightforward enough. This I just loved, and I know the sunflower doesn't have blue in the middle, but is that pretty or what? And these are all, I think, like AI drawings, but they give you a good idea. So I'm thinking, whoops, let me come close this out. I am thinking, honestly, that I want to do a sunflower, and I think I want it to be 2 to 3, maybe not. Oh, and I want to show you too. It's coming up soon. I'm taking a class called Mobius Radius from the Mancuso Virtual Schoolhouse. And I'm so excited to take this class. So I need to get busy and gather up my supplies needed. It's an all-day class, and I've got to remember, here it is. And it's only 2 colors. It's amazing. Snow and charcoal. That's it. And so I'm going to be taking that. So now let's go to show and tell. But I'm going to be really busy taking that class, and then getting ready for our class in July. But I think it'll be fun. All right, I found something. Oh, Miss B, I don't know what I was going through, but I came across, I know, our website. And I found this that Miss B had done. And I love it. And I just wanted to show it again. Miss B is from England. She's a lovely lady and has a beautiful British garden. But I just wanted to show this again. I said, that was really nice. And with the new batiks and the colors, there is so much out there that can really stir your imagination. Now, since Miss B is here, Miss Betty Meisner, I just wanted to show you her wonderful, now she said a couple parts are turned upside down. I can't tell, but she fixed it. And this is in honor of Donna Jordan. Dear Donna Jordan, this was one of her patterns. And I thought Betty was a doll baby to make this in her honor. And Betty also does things like, look at this wonderful fish that she made. I've tried to make them like this, but I'm never as good at it as our Miss Betty. And then here is another one. Don't you love that? I love the lame on there. So that's in honor of seeing our Betty. She's in from the garden. And I'm going to show this because I'm concerned about Miss BB. And our Miss BB is Iranian, and I've got to write her an email because I'm very concerned with what's going on right now, and I want her to stay very safe. So, and I'm hoping any family she has will stay safe too. A lovely, lovely lady. So we're thinking about you, Miss BB. And I want everybody just to calm down. So, now let me see. I might have put something in this one. Let me just check real quickly. Nope, I didn't. So that's good. I'll go back. And I don't think Miss Debbie sent me anything new. Nope, she does such beautiful stuff. Love Miss Debbie's work. All right. And I don't think Miss Julie, nope, don't have anything new there. Miss Mary, are you ready to see what Miss Mary made? I love this. Look at her doll. Look at her doll. Isn't that cute? And the best thing is that you can use your stash, and it is pretty straightforward. I found the stuffing it part was the hardest part, but Miss Mary said, I love my doll, and I totally agree with her. I love my doll too. So my daughters call it my sewing grandma doll, you know, my Nana friend. And I just love it. And oh, it looks like she put a pretty piece of jewelry on there. So that is lovely. So it's a lot of fun. It's free. Once again, it's called Tilda Kitschy Friends. And Kitschy is spelled Kischty, something like that. But it has an S in it. I just want to remind you. And then ready for one more view of her amazing doll. Is that the cutest? So I love that, and I love the star pin on her flower. She did a great job with the dress. I love that. So it's just a lot of fun, and that's what I just love, tickling your creativity and keeping us working on fun things. Now, here's Mare. Oh my goodness. Mare lives in California. And you know, sometimes we forget and we think, oh, I don't think California has that much in the way of flowers. But honest to goodness, look at what Miss Mare has in her yard. And hold on, I'm just grabbing something for after show and tell. Oops. Okay. But look at this. And she gave me the name of it, and now I have forgotten. Thank you, Miss Mary, for putting that title in case I missed it. And look at the flowers. It's so pretty. Kind of reminds me a little bit of a Verbena bonariensis, but with a whole lot more going on. That's gorgeous. And then here is, and I think, did she say this was catmint or lavender? I forget, but isn't that beautiful? So, how nice. And I saw the roses. Oh, I turned it upside down, but forgot to get rid of this one. That was cute. So, but thank you, Miss Mayor, for sending those. They are lovely. And, okay. Now let's see who else we have. Let me see. Miss Marcia. She sent us. I love this bowl. We made a bowl like this before, but I think we need to make another one. And especially using, I've never made a yo-yo. So we'll have to try one of these. But thank you, thank you. All right, let's see what else we have. That was from Marcia Hahn. And Melanie, let's see. Oh, I love these quilts. Let's show these quilts again. She went to a retreat, and I love these stripy circles. Aren't they great? We did a stripy circle at some point. but aren't they pretty? Okay, is there something else? Oh, I love this puzzle quilt. There are so many fun things that we can do, we can choose to do now. I love that. All right, so now, here we go. All right, and her sweet little Willow. You got to see Willow. I mean, what a doll baby is Miss Willow. All right. Okay, now, Meltem. I love that last week. Meltem, I'm going to go ahead and go through hers. Miss Meltem lives in Turkey and just is so creative in a country that is so full of history and art and beauty. Just amazing. So these are her journal covers. And she has, is it called swan quilt art? Something like that. She's very, very talented. And she has her own Etsy site. So keep her in mind. Take care, Miss Betty. It was wonderful seeing you, sweetheart. Oh, it was sage mare. You pick the leaves and use them in cooking. Oh, that's wonderful. Sage. Okay, I remember now. You did tell me that. And here's another journal cover. Take care, Betty. Tell husband we said hello, hon. So, okay. And this, she told us about the Hagia Sophia, a mosque that was built in the 1400s. Amazing, amazing. So thank you, Miss Meltem. She gave us so much wonderful history on that. And then Miss Cheryl sent pictures this week. And I was so tickled to get so many photos. Please keep sending them. The Pride of Madeira blooms only at Easter. This year she was majestic. The Pride of Madeira. That's the one that had the big flowers that I said, oh, looks like a verbena. But it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you for reminding us that, Miss Mayor. So here is some work from Cheryl Hogan. And this, there was a story to this and now I've forgotten. I'm sorry I've forgotten. Okay, then there, I love this. She took some classes on collage portraiture and I love this. And they had, look at this cat. Unfortunately, I couldn't print out my agenda, which had the class teachers in it. And I'll have to put that down there too, because aren't they beautiful? And that's our sweet Cheryl, who is standing in front of her work at her group show display. I love that. So thank you, Miss Cheryl Hogan. The cat, in fact, let me go back to that. Look at the eyes. Look at those eyes. Isn't that amazing? So, in fact, let me see where, oh, here we go. Cutie kitty. I'm trying to find the teacher's name. Looks like I'm not sure. I will find this. I will find the name again of that teacher. And because, oh boy, would I love to take a class from her. That is exquisite. So thank you so much, Cheryl, for sharing that with us. It inspires us for sure. Okay. And let me see. I think that's about all. Yes, I think that's all of the new ones. And speaking of, this was the Sparrow quilt that I took a class in and at the Myrtle Beach Quilt Party, which, gosh, I had such fun at. And I'm still working on putting it in an applique border. So I'm still working on it. I have just about totally finished my daughter's version of that same quilt, the sparrow quilt. The first one I'm giving to my daughter, and then the second one is just for me. So, okay, I think we pretty much covered everything. Oh, did anyone, I can always watch later, but if anyone gave me advice on what kind of fusible is easier to sew through, I would really appreciate that. And, oh, yes, I do love the sparrow quilt. It is adorable, and it's a wonderful, wonderful quilt. There's our Melanie. All right. Oh, there's our Meltem too. Oh, it's so good to see y'all. Yes, we were talking about you. We sure were. I feel so blessed to have friends from all around the world, and especially when things are bumpy like right now, and some countries are overstepping their bounds bigly, but to know that there are people who share our same values and our same passions, our same creativity. It's a wonderful world out there. Never forget that. There is so much beauty. I told Meltem how much I love the Hagia Sophia. I know I'm making a mess of that word. But she said next time she goes, she'll take pictures for us. It's like, people are so good. And, you know, we might have different looks or beliefs, but underneath we're all the same. And we're this great, big, wonderful world of creative, loving, giving people who are doing their very best. So, hang in there, everyone. And you've heard that Heat and Bond Light is it. Thank you. So Deb's first time chatting with us, and she gives me in the purple package. I will make sure to get some of that. Yay! I love this. And Melanie, Deb asked, loves pugs, and aren't they the best? So if women ran the world, Laura R., I totally agree with you. I totally agree. But I want you all to have a good week. Take good care of yourself. I've lost the first 2 pounds. Let's hope it keeps going. Want to get my health out of the way so I can just keep sewing. And oh, I know what I was going to show you. You know that I did my prosperity hens. These were so much fun to make. Great big loud bell at the end. These I love. I finished the embellished seascape, finished the narrow strip seascape, and I have become quite in love with this one. Isn't that funny? And then here, it's not as bright and precious as Miss Monkey's, but I definitely love her. And this is a free pattern, and oh good. Well then I am doing good, and every day I get on my elliptical trainer, and I just gotta do it. Gotta do it. So here we go. And I'll always let you know before they decide how to take that kidney stone out. It's big. It's like about this big, and they said there's no way you can pass it. And we can't afford it to block my only kidney. But this is the cutest thing. It's a free pattern. It's out there. And I love it. Just like Miss Monkey. Although her dress is gorgeous. I love Miss Monkey's doll dress. So take good care of yourself. And if you're like me, reward yourself with making a miniature dollhouse. They are so much fun. It's probably the single thing besides quilting that I love the most in the world to do. So it's wonderful. Oh, thank you, Miss Mary. And if you've ever thought of trying paper bead making. Mark and I are considering, buying, now that we found out where we can get the tips and nice wooden handles and things, something comfortable for your hand, let me know, because they come in multiples. So let me know if you'd be interested. And I love making my paper beads. I mean, it just easy. So do something good just for you. Take some time just for you. Very soon, I'm going to put my hammock up in my sunroom so I can sit in the air conditioning and enjoy my hammock. So I'm going to make sure to get that done soon. Take good care, all of you. It was wonderful to see you. And did insurance come through? I haven't heard. They've been going around and around. But now Social Security finally let Medicare know that my name changed a year ago, and so hopefully now we can get everything. And I think she's going to try Jardiance with me too. So who knows? But you know what? There comes a point where you have to. May you have one. Oh yes, Miss Marcia, you let me. I will be glad. And I need to let the doctor, for a change, decide how I'm going to get healthier. And I'm going to do it. So take good care of yourself, and see you next week. Bye-bye, everyone. You are the best. You are the best. And you do my heart good. Bye-bye. Thanks for spending this time with us, Deb. Send me an email. Bye-bye, everyone.